All right, thanks again for joining, or thanks again for having me as well. I'm really excited to do this resume workshop with you all. Through this workshop, I'll give you an introduction on myself and my background. We'll talk about resumes. We'll go over some sample resumes as well. And then also we'll talk about LinkedIn, which is really important. And then we'll go over some LinkedIn profiles. And then my favorite part of doing these is the Q&A. So please think of questions along the way, and I'll be happy to answer them. I think this is also really an inside view in a recruiter's mind, because the recruiter and sourcer are usually the first people that view that resume and get you to the right part of the company that you're trying to apply to. So I'm excited to give you all that insight and all that knowledge that you perhaps otherwise wouldn't get elsewhere. All right, so a little bit about me, guys. I am the Senior Manager of Talent Acquisition at CBI Cybersecurity Solutions. I've been with this organization for 8-9 years or so, off and on. It's been a remarkable journey for me. And this particular company, CBI, is a cybersecurity advisory and consulting firm. So my company provides all sorts of security services for our clients on a national level. That includes professional services, penetration testing, DFIR, managed security services. And then we also sell and partner with a lot of the OEM companies out there. So we resell solutions to our clients as well. So I am the internal talent acquisition leader for that company. So nearly a decade of experience specifically in cybersecurity. I'm a people geek. I'm in it for the stories, honestly. I'm in it to talk to individuals like yourselves, to hear the paths you've taken to get to where you are at today. And I've heard some incredible information security war stories over the years. So that's what makes me excited, is to learn about people and to geek out on people, just like maybe some of you geek out on the technology itself. So a little bit flip-flop for me. And it's only because I'm not as smart as you guys are on the technical stuff. I take a trusted advisor approach and a community builder approach within my job. So I love what I do, first and foremost. That's why I'm in it, because it's a passion of mine. So why not be a trusted advisor and a consultant to candidates, whether they are a fit for my company at CBI or maybe elsewhere? And that's where the community building comes into place. I talk to people from all walks of cybersecurity, from 0 years of experience to 3-4 decades of experience. And I am, connecting the dots. I'm brokering meetings for folks out there to perhaps meet with other companies, to align them with other opportunities within the cybersecurity community. And then lastly, I was born in Bucharest, Romania. I was raised in Detroit, Michigan, and that's where I reside. I'm in the Metro Detroit area, and I know this program in particular with the University of Colorado is based in Colorado. So it doesn't matter. We're a global virtual environment now, so irrelevant of location and such. All right, that's a little bit about me. We'll get going here and talk about resumes. So a little bit of or a lot of bit of words here. Try not to concentrate on everything all at once. I couldn't figure out how to make everything slide in at once because I'm not great at PowerPoint. But on the left, big bold print. I don't know if you guys and gals know this, but recruiters spend on average 7 seconds reviewing a resume before they decide, let's put this person forward to have an initial screen, or let's pass for now. That is the truth. I into this bucket sometimes, especially when I'm in a rush and I have a lot of requisitions to fill. I need to see what I need to see on a resume very quickly to identify the right fit to move people forward to that initial conversation. So with that in mind, be well organized and intentional in your resumes. Know what you want to convey to the person reading that resume. In my opinion, a clean look always beats a flashy format. And we'll identify some of those samples in a little bit here. And then it's important to tailor your resume for each position you're applying to. A SOC analyst position is going to require a different tone in your resume versus an IT help desk position, and so forth. With a threat hunter or DFIR professional or a penetration tester, you'll want to navigate your resume to make it appeal to the audience that you're applying for that particular position. Include the usual, right? Contact information, education, certs, skills, experience, etc. but be different with extracurriculars, professional affiliation, special projects. Getting away from the resume for just a second, what I look for when I review resumes, and also when I have that initial screen candidate to learn their story, is I look for more than just, this is what I do 9 to 5. Here are the quick bullet points. Do you want me for the job? I do look for the extracurriculars. Do you have a home lab set up? Are you running any firewalls there? Are you playing CTFs in your spare time? Are you, learning about, various things in information security? Extracurriculars could be also following the prominent cybersecurity professionals on YouTube. Do you follow Krebs on security? Do you read Information Security Magazine? Professional affiliations are simple sometimes. Joining the B-Sides security group within your city, joining the ISACA group, SANS, various nonprofits that can or may not have to do with cybersecurity. And then special projects is right. What are you currently working on outside of your day-to-day to get you better and to get you basically landed in that opportunity that you want? So those are the things that I look for in addition to what you typically see on a resume. And again, we'll be reviewing that in the next little bit here. The next couple things are easy, right? List your experiences in chronological order. I point that out only because I'm a stickler for that sometimes. I don't toss resumes for not having it in chronological order, but it's so easy to read. Remember, 7 seconds is all it takes, maybe less sometimes, for a recruiter to say yay or nay on a resume. So make your resume readable, easy to read, user-friendly, right, in some cases. So start with your most recent experience, move your way down. And use bullet points to talk about the various areas of your resume, various areas that you've been working on within that particular job, move on to the next job. And if you list it on your resume, be ready to discuss it during an interview. This is where I see candidates not do the best. I get excited about stuff I see on resumes. I know my hiring managers get excited. For example, if we're recruiting someone specifically to be a firewall engineer, firewall security network engineer, and they said that they've deployed checkpoint firewalls from the R70.40 series, and they upgraded it themselves with no help to the R8040 series, you're probably going to be asked about specifics of how you did that. And this was like a pure example that happened the other day where we were excited. I'm not a technical assessor, but I like the individual, great consultative ability, etc. Move them forward. He listed it on his resume. He got asked about it, and he stumbled mightily, and obviously he didn't get the job. So very important. It's pretty obvious, right, to do something like this, but sometimes, we want to put some sprinkles on top of the cake that aren't necessarily there. So make sure that you're putting your own work on the resume, things that you've done, experiences that you have, certifications that you actually have. Those things are important to put on a resume. All right, I'm gonna jump off of this one, and I'll pull up our first. I'll pull up our first sample. Start with this one here. So, if you guys see this, can you guys see this sample resume that I just pulled up?
Yes, if you could make it a little bit bigger, would be great.
Yes, of course. Trying to make it full screen. Maybe web layout. Hope that didn't help. Maybe I'll just zoom in. How about that?
Okay, yeah, perfect. Yeah.
All right, sample resume. It's a sample because I pulled the actual information from this individual off, and I made it a sample resume. But take a look at the design real quick. Let's back it up a little bit. So pretty clean, right? It's crisp, it's clean. It doesn't have a lot of extra, colors. I actually like the color scheme. It's easy to follow. So this is actually one of the good ones. We'll point out some stuff that may not be as great, but so far so good on this resume. It's easy to read. It doesn't have a bunch of separations or anything like that within the resume itself. So header is nice. The name goes up here. I like these part of the resume sometimes because it gives me a really quick glimpse right at the top of what I'm about to review on this resume. Perhaps starting off with your title or main proficiencies, listing out your top certs that you have, and then maybe ending with a couple of areas that make you you, right? Because that's important. If you're a consultative trusted advisor type that I think that I am, maybe I would put trusted advisor up there. This person thinks that they're a strategist of sorts, client champion. Those things are important to him in his next opportunity. So this is kind of cool. I don't see it on a lot of resumes, but I like it. At the bottom, the usual, right? Keep in mind, or take a look here at the end though, LinkedIn profile. I see a lot of resumes that have this now. That's great. That's probably something I'm going to look at pretty quickly in our process of reviewing, right? I'm gonna check you out on LinkedIn, make sure some of this data relates to what you're doing on LinkedIn as well, see how active you are, those types of things. So top is looking pretty good. What we call here underneath the information at the top, underneath the header, is a summary. Pretty quick summary of maybe some accomplishments, how many years you've been in the industry, positions you've had before cybersecurity that built a really strong foundation to what you have become right now or what you're working towards. I like this too. It would normally come right after the header, so this is in good order here. You got the header with that information, the summary right underneath. Moving on to skills, technical skills, I would call them, or attributes that pertain to your personality, the person that you are. This is, again, another thing that I like to see up front. Remember, I'm going to keep reminding you about the 7 seconds thing. It's a true thing. Hitting me right up front with some of your technical skill sets. If I'm looking for someone that can do incident response and threat hunting, I'm probably going to read on if you're hitting me with incident response and threat hunting early on, and so forth. So listing out some various things about your background. And there's various ways you can do this, right? In the next sample, I'll show you there'll be another way of listing these skill sets out. Followed by professional experiences, at least for this resume. So let's talk about this piece. This person could have done 1 or 2 things after listing out the skill sets. What I usually like to see, certifications and education, right close to the top, usually before professional experience. Because if it's not before professional experience, I have to scroll all the way down to find his certifications and such. So try to list that part closer to the top. Again, those buzzwords are going to be important for the recruiter to see, and there's really no bigger buzzwords right now than the 2 things, right? The actual firewalls, SOC analyst, threat hunter, those types of things, technologies you use, Splunk, QRadar, CrowdStrike, etc. And number 2 is those certs, Sec Plus, Net Plus, CISA Plus, CISSPs, all the SAN certifications that are out there. Education is going to be key as well. There's a lot of great opportunities out there for education. You guys are in an awesome program now with the University of Colorado. I'll want to see that closer to the top. So that's all I'm saying there. Professional experience. So he works for Managed Security Co., cybersecurity analyst, team lead, and threat hunter. That's a lot. That'll be something that I would dig deep on if I wanted to have a further discussion with this individual, because I'll need to know what's going on there. Why do you have 3 positions within this organization? Perhaps he didn't break it out enough where he's, maybe started as a security analyst 2019 to late 2019. Maybe he then became a team lead. I think he mentions in here that he became the shift leader within 2 months. So if you're going to list more than 1 title for a position, make sure you're detailing it when you had those positions. If you are all 3 in 1 position, then detail it out within this description, what you are and what you're doing. So this person's doing a lot of different things. When I see experience, this is a good format, right? The name of the company, the title you hold at the company, and don't forget to put, the duration that you're there. If it's to present, you put when you started to present. I do like a little blurb that gives me an insight on what I'm going to read in the bullet points, right? So these are the major components of what he's doing within his role with this managed security company. I like it. You don't have to do it. Sometimes it rolls right into the bullet points, which is again a clean look. That's fine. And then hit me with the good stuff. What you're doing there, in as much detail as possible. It doesn't have to be paragraphs for each bullet point, and sometimes a sentence will do, just like this guy has done. And again, he's adding a lot of keywords and buzzwords throughout, right? Look at this ending statement here on his last bullet point. MITRE ATT&CK framework, PCI DSS, NIST, HIPAA, FISMA, FIRMA, those types of things. If I'm looking for that type of person and he lists it, I'm going to catch it with my eye pretty quickly because it's closer to the top of his resume. So again, on the notion though that you know what you know when you put it on the resume. He then goes on to talk about another experience here. Again, a little blurb to start. That's good. Some bullet points about his experience there. That's great. And then ends his experiences. Doesn't end it, but he has another experience here. And then additional experience. I see this sometimes on resumes. When the experience goes back, like back, I still would consider this somewhat relevant because it's not that far back. He was a help desk manager, level 2 support, and it's an IT role. So I actually would have bumped this out and made it its own thing. But sometimes additional experiences, like if you've had a lot of jobs, it can go down here and you don't have to talk about them if they're not super pertinent to what you are trying to accomplish. Education and certs down here, we talked about that just a little bit ago. I would have liked to see this earlier on, up at the top, probably right under here. And going back to the top, remember I talked about this blue square being important. I now realized that he has technologies actually depicted down here. So I would actually have combined this area and shrunk this area and put it together closer to the top. You want your buzzword at the top, you want the technologies that you know at the top, along with your certs and education. But still like the resume. It kept me reading because it's a clean, easy to read resume. Professional affiliations, I mentioned this before, something that people don't always think of to add to their resumes, but I told you before, what I look for in particular when I'm reviewing resumes isn't just the normal experiences, what you've done. It's also for the extracurriculars and your affiliation and what you do in your spare time. It's really important for me to know that kind of stuff. Because when I screen you, or when recruiters will screen you, they'll ask, tell me about your extracurriculars. Do you have a home lab? Do you tinker with X, Y, and Z in your spare time? Who do you follow in the industry? Do you go to the cons? Have you ever done a speaking engagement? Those types of things. So as much of those things that you can include that are true relevant to your background, why not already add them on this piece of paper? I always get the question about resume length. In my opinion, if you're not a CISO, chief security officer, it shouldn't be longer than 2 pages. 1 page is really strong. If you can do a 1-pager, that's awesome. But in the same vein, it's a lot to put in 1 page. A lot of recruiters like pagers. To me, 2 pages will do, and it fit this person's background just fine, as you can see in 2 pages here. Don't go over 2 pages. Once you get deeper into your career and it makes absolute sense, go past it. That's fine. Go to 3 pages. That'll work. On the topic of the resume again, PDF it. Don't have a document like this gentleman did, and then I went ahead and obviously scrubbed all of his background out of it. I even changed the name of the companies and such. So PDF it. It's easier for everyone to open. It'll open universally, even on Macs and other systems and such. So PDF your resume. Don't leave it as a Word document. All right, so that was one example, which I'm happy to share with you all if you want to work off of this type of a template. But just keep in mind some of the things that I said that could make this better. Again, I don't hate it. This is actually a good resume, a good format. All right, let's see here. Sample number 2. So here's another resume that is a 1-page resume. I'll make it bigger here. This is a 1-pager. And it's even simpler than before. And again, another format that I like. Keep it simple. Don't try to get flashy. If you wanted to make a space to put your face on here somewhere, that's okay. That's not too flashy. But don't forget the important things, right? My LinkedIn. Put your LinkedIn in there. It's important for me to find you quickly if I need to on the professional social network there. Career summary, again, just like the last one, military vet, certified IT professional, hitting me with the important stuff first. That's great. Technical skills second, exactly what I was referring to on the last resume. Perfect. If you applied for something that requires one of these skill sets, I'm going to see it right away and I may want to talk to you. Certifications in education, again, still top part of the resume, great. This person did a similar program, I think, to what maybe you guys are over there with University of Colorado, 11-month program, cybersecurity certificate. He's got the certifications on here. He tells me that he's got active security clearance. That's a plus. And then he rolls into his experiences. And his are pretty simple, right? Got a few bullet points in there. Service desk. He was a security officer, technical support AT&T. He also lists his military experience, which is something I always like to see. My company and several companies across the world, for that matter, are vet-friendly employers. It's a designation through the Veterans Affairs Agency. Where we're based in Michigan, there's a national system as well. We hire a lot of vets, and vets do extremely well within our organization. The foundational hands-on leadership experience that vets bring, as well as the discipline and such, and some of the training that you guys get within the military is second to none. So we like to hire vets. So if you are a vet, make sure you're putting it on your resume somewhere. Don't exclude it. Don't exclude it, and not put your experience in the military on your resume. And if you still have that clearance from the military, yeah, why not put it on there as active security clearance of whatever level? So there's not much to say about this one. It's simple. It gave me what I needed very quickly. And this person, if I was looking for this type of skill set, would get a call, because after the 7 seconds period where I took a quick glance, it made me want to read because it was very easy to read. So it's good stuff here.